Hello everyone! Today we are going to be making my homemade Albondigas soup. So if you would like to see how I make this dish, then let's go ahead and get started. First, you are going to start off with a small onion. Now it can be a white onion, it can be a yellow onion. I wouldn't recommend a sweet or a purple, but if that's all you have on hand, I'm pretty sure it would work just fine. And you are just going to cut it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two different pots. Because I'm making a lot, I'm making actually 3 days worth. I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray, and I'm gonna put half of the onion in one pot and half of the onion in the other pot. And if I'm talking really low, it's because the Super Bowl is going on and my team is the 49ers and I can't watch the game because I'm getting so annoyed and irritated. Then turn the heat to medium, and you're just gonna cook the onion a little bit. We just want that cooked oniony taste. It doesn't have to be like completely cooked or anything like that because it's gonna be cooking for a while, but we just want that oniony flavor in the soup. Now, if you like your soup a little bit more tomatoey, I would recommend you getting a bigger can of tomato sauce. I just got a small can. I do the no salt added to it. And then once again, I'm going to put half in one pot and half in the other. If you are making it different, like only in one pot, I'm going to leave all the directions down below for every single piece. So don't worry, I haven't forgot about you. It will all be down below. And then you're just going to move the onions, stir the onions with the tomato sauce just to get a little bit more of that flavor in there. And then you're going to add a tiny bit of water just so that the tomato sauce does not burn onto the bottom of the pot. While we're waiting for the water to boil, we're going to start on our meat. We're going to start to make the meatballs that go in the soup. So I am grabbing a 1 pound bag of ground beef and then another 1 pound bag of ground beef. And I'm going to put both of those in a big bowl because it's going to make a whole lot of meat and you're going to have to stir it. So you want something kind of big so that way the meat isn't falling out of the bowl. And then you are going to take seasoned salt, lemon pepper, salt, and mint. I know the mint sounds a little bit weird, but trust me, it adds an amazing flavor to the ground beef. And like I said, don't worry about the measurements. I will have them down below. And then depending on how much meat that you're going to use, since I have 2 pounds of meat, I'm using 3 eggs. So it will vary. You don't want to use too much eggs, otherwise it will kind of come out a little bit weird, kind of tasting like eggs. And if you put too little, the meatballs will start to fall apart in the water. And then I add rice to mine. You don't have to. This is just to help it with a little bit of flavor, a little bit of texture, but you don't have to add it. And then you are going to mix everything together. If you keep seeing me stopping, it's because the meat was super cold and my hands were freezing while I was doing this. Now this is when I start to add a lot more water. Now I'm not going to fill it up to the complete top because we still have meatballs, potatoes, carrots, everything to throw in there. So I'm gonna fill it up maybe a little bit over halfway, not too high, and I'm gonna put it on high while I'm rolling the meatballs because we need the water completely boiling. We need it like a rolling boiling. And how I'm going to roll the meatballs is I'm just going to grab a chunk, probably at the size of my palm, push it down flat at first just to get everything to kind of bind together at first, and then I'm just going to roll it. I don't want there to be any cracks or anything like that because when I throw it in the water, sometimes it will unravel or break apart. And that's it. You just make a perfect little ball and just make as many as you possibly can. I'm making some bigger because my husband likes the bigger meatballs and then I usually eat the smaller ones. So I'm just going to be doing all different sizes. And they're all going to be in there for a while cooking, so it doesn't matter how big or how small, they will all cook evenly. Now, like I said, you need the water boiling. You need it rolling, because if not, they will sink to the bottom and start to break apart. And I'm only leaving this clip in the normal length because I want to show you how long it takes for me to put one meatball in after the other. I take a while because if not, the temperature will drop and the water will stop boiling, and then it will start to mess with every single meatball that is in there. So you want them to kind of cook a tiny bit and then throw another one in, and then cook a tiny bit and then throw another one in. You don't want to keep throwing them back to back. Once that water goes down and the temperature cools down so it stops boiling, it's going to mess with the entire process of cooking the meatballs. Right here, this is what I want to show you. You see how the water isn't as boiling as it was before? It's because there's already a couple of meatballs in there, so the temperature has dropped. So you want it like this. You want it just moving and moving. And it is sped up, but I'm actually not throwing them in that quick after another. I'm kind of leaving it. That's why you see me kind of just sitting there with the meatball just kind of on the spoon. And then when they are starting to cook, they're going to come out looking like this. And they're not done like this. They're not even close to being done. They still have to cook all the way through to the middle, but we still have a lot more to go. So they will eventually cook all the way through. I cannot stress this enough. Salt your water. Salt it. Salt to taste. If I were you, I would salt a little bit, taste it, salt a little bit more, taste it, because there is so much water in there. You need the seasoning. Otherwise, it's going to taste super, super bland. And moving on to the carrots. I grabbed a whole bunch. Usually I get the baby carrots, but I actually kind of been liking the way that the full carrots taste in them. So I'm just going to peel just a bunch of them. It's whatever I have left over. I use this in another meal, so I'm just taking whatever I have left over. I'm cutting off the ends because sometimes the end can taste a little bit like dirt. So the tops and the ends are coming off, and then I'm kind of cutting them the size of baby carrots. I'm not leaving them full. I'm cutting them into either halves or into fours, but probably about the size of a baby carrot. So maybe like your pinky. That's probably the best way to describe how little I'm cutting them. Now, do not throw these in until the meatballs have kind of cooked. And the way that you will know that is when the water starts boiling again, like how it was before we threw the meatballs in. You don't want to do it before, because then it will drop the temperature down again and start to mess with the cooking process of the meatballs. Then I'm going to take a whole lot of potatoes. I like some soup with my potatoes. So I'm grabbing about 6 to 7 decent sized potatoes, especially because I'm making them in 2 separate batches. And I'm just gonna peel all of them and cut them up into cubes. Big cubes, small cubes. You kind of want them to be the same size because you want them to cook. Now these are gonna cook in there for about, I would say about 20 minutes, maybe 30. Potatoes take a long time, but we need them all to go in this order because carrots take the longest to cook, and then potatoes take the second longest, and then we're gonna throw in zucchini, which takes a little bit of time also. So once the carrots have cooked for about maybe 10 minutes, 15, I would say 20 the latest, then you're gonna throw in your potatoes. Then we're gonna start on the zucchini, and I'm only putting in 2 zucchinis because I don't really like them. It's more my husband that likes them. And I'm gonna cut them the exact same size as basically everything else. Wait until the potatoes have cooked for about 10 minutes. Once again, 15 minutes. Kind of test them to see where they are, and then throw in the zucchini to cook. If you don't like the grease that's on the top, then you can always just scoop it out. It won't hurt. I always leave it on there. It's usually fine. And then that's it. You let it cook down for about 30 to 45 minutes. Just let it simmer. Let everything cook all the way through. You want everything to kind of be fork tender. And then that's it. It's done. I hope you guys try this recipe, and if you do, please let me know how you like it. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will be back very soon with another video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.